Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is Thursday morning, May 6th, 2021. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. And wow, we got a lot to talk about. And I think one of the most interesting things today is the extremes that we're on right now. This is a super interesting time to be a stock trader. And if you are trading stocks right now, God bless you, because there is plenty to do. Now, what's interesting about that, I'm going to dive into that in a second. We're going to cover the reasons why the community that we have, the bootcamp and the swing trading community, have been able to find opportunity despite the market pretty much doing nothing. Yesterday, the SPY ETF for the 7th consecutive day closed below the opening price, indicating that the buyers have not been in charge in the bigger picture. Different from what we saw prior to that for most of April, where at the end of the day, we were having these monster rallies, and it was pretty much easy to forecast that was going to happen at the end of the day. So stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, so I just kind of hinted a little bit about finding pockets of opportunity. And what it really comes down to is finding the right stocks in the hottest industry groups right now. I don't even know if I would say hot, but the most obvious industry groups where you're getting order flow. And what's kind of cool about this is that you are never guessing where the order flow is. Day to day, week to week, month to month, you're simply paying attention, but really understanding how to pay attention within the time frame that you're trading is what matters. So in other words, are you day trading? What time frames are you looking at? Are you swing trading? What time frames are you looking at? Or are you a little bit longer term position trading? We're holding stuff from one earnings report to the next, which is kind of a cool way to trade a stock as well, because once those earnings come out, unless news comes out, there's really nothing that's going to change that bias. So you can pretty much buy in March and then wait for the next one. That's really the easiest way to do it. Look at my hair. I got like a little Superman curl going because it keeps getting longer. So we're going to look at the SPY. We're going to work our way over to the stocks for today. We have some really good earnings, and then we had some amazing bad news yesterday for some stocks. Now, the question is, are they buying opportunities, or are they just leave them alone? And if you're an advanced trader, should you be short selling those stocks? But I think what I want to start out with today is the fun that we have with sector rotation. Now, the one thing I want to point out here as well, once you put a trade on, you should know that you are looking at a certain amount of risk in exchange for what would be the minimum profit that you are willing to accept for taking that risk, or the minimum profit that you're willing to pursue, right? Now, what becomes challenging is what's available on the table. So we all know the ratio of 3 to 1, right? 3 to 1 risk reward is the ideal initial profit target, the ideal reward you'd like to earn for a certain amount of profit. But sometimes the market gets in the way. Sometimes the market gets in the way where you're seeing these nice fluid moves out, but then the market kind of hits the brakes, and a lot of these stocks that could have, should have, would have rallied up to a significant level that you would have liked kind of peter out and float back down, and you have this $6, $7, $8 profit for a swing trade, which kind of now comes back to a flat. And if you're new to trading, a flat means a break-even trade. So you basically got in and got out at the same price. Not really the worst thing in the world from a bigger picture perspective, where you don't have a loss on the trade, but you didn't make anything either, so it really doesn't mess up the account. However, when you recognize the market and what's available, when you recognize the sector rotation and what's available, at some point you need to recognize when there's a lot more on the table and you could push it and everything is obvious, or you have to recognize where there's these pockets of opportunity, and when stocks move in your favor, you be a little bit more aggressive with booking profits. So in other words, are you trading for a little bit longer term trend, or are you trading the next wave of momentum and taking what's available because the market's kind of starting and stopping. And then as we saw yesterday in a few stocks, just these absolute collapses where all your stop losses trigger. And it's that little nuance of paying attention to sector rotation, paying attention to how much is on the table, and whether or not you should go for 3 to 1 or even higher, or just when you get that momentum move in your favor, you start to trail it, you book the profit, and you go to the next trade. We're kind of in a little bit more of a cash flow type environment right now. We do have some breakout trades today that we're going to take a look at, probably about 5 of them. that are setting up pretty well today. We have some earnings from yesterday we're going to take a look at, but we're first going to take a look at the market and the call that we were talking about. So you can see here in the SPY, what's pretty interesting is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row, it's closed below the opening price, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8 melted candles. And if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know melted candles means indecision. So should be frustrating, right? Especially for short-term active traders. Well, we put this out for the community every day, and it's something that is a huge part of what we do. And the reason it's a huge part of what we do is you can see that we're really going on a treasure hunt every day, looking for pockets of opportunity. And as we've been discussing, you can see energy and basic materials for the week, the month, and yesterday have given us some good ideas. And when I say good ideas, what I'm talking about here is when you have the expectation of, if I place this trade, I understand I have a stop loss, but what are the odds? What are the expectation? How confident, how much conviction do I have that this stock that I buy is going to go higher? That's what it means to really dig in and have what we call a SWAC, stocks with the catalyst. There's so much more to it than just reading the charts. When those stocks with the catalyst are present and you see above average volume, those are the ones when you place that order, the odds of it going in the direction you expect are pretty good. The only decision after that is, are you in a momentum cash flow type environment, or are you in a little bit longer term trend following and building a position? And because of what we're showing on the screen right now, they're a little bit more of a cash flow. You can see that we're not green across the board for the week. For the month, we are, but the short term, nothing exciting here. And for the last 5 days, only a pocket of opportunity. So that's really where we've been focusing. So getting back into how that affects trade management, we're in cash flow mode right now. That's really what it comes down to. So getting into some of the stocks that we were watching yesterday, we discussed PayPal earnings, and we said that we were expecting them to be good. And you can see here that it's up over 4%, $10. Our buy stop was a little bit higher. It was up in this area here. We didn't want to get involved until this was broken. You can see how we work the charts all the time. We could actually do this in real time here. That right there would have been the break of this uptrend. So really above 276, 277. But what I'd be doing now, especially with the way that the earnings came out, is we would be having this hourly chart, which is a little bit tighter heading into earnings. And you can see 258. We're actually all the way up here. So now we're looking at a little bit different time frame, a little bit different entry, where maybe we might enter the first piece and then look for PayPal past that. General Motors actually had some pretty good earnings yesterday as well, but you can see here it's pretty much stuck in this range. I like it over 60. I bought this breakout. It didn't follow through. We got involved here on this entry here. We got a decent move in our favor, and now we've actually just been kind of meandering. Hopefully the earnings that came out yesterday morning, which is why it was up 4%, could finally get it through 60. So I have an alert set for General Motors over 60, not a buy stop. Something that was really interesting last night was Run. Run actually has been in the doghouse, and you can see here, let's actually go back a year, where the solar stocks were pretty much on fire. We were trading it pretty aggressively June through mid-September last year, but now we're actually breaking support. But it's up almost 5% after earnings yesterday, and you know that we're a big volume follower. We actually got big volume down here, big volume down here, and bigger volume down here. This is what we might call a longer-term position trade, where we're looking to build the position, not necessarily an A-plus trade by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a SWAC, a stock with a catalyst. So we're going to see if this catalyst, this earnings catalyst now, has enough legs to turn the stock around. A couple of other stocks on the bearish side, which just got absolutely clobbered yesterday. Peloton. We'll take a look at the news here in Peloton in a second. Peloton recalling all treadmills after reports of injuries and one death. I don't mean to make light of the situation, but they were already warned about this a long time ago, at least I think 6 to 8 weeks ago, and they basically ignored it. So we talked about Peloton yesterday. We're actually looking to see if we could find a bid because of this support that was holding. If you look here, prior to yesterday, and we called this yesterday, we actually had a bullish U-turn at support. It kept failing to break down, and that's typically where you get a short covering rally. However, the news broke intraday yesterday. You can see here we actually found a bid. This is the bid that we were looking to hold. News broke intraday and the stock was just crushed. So should you be buying this? No. Quite honestly, I'm not looking to buy it. I am waiting for the stock to come out. They apologized, which obviously after the fact really doesn't mean anything. The stock is in the doghouse right now. Until it changes, I'm not looking to do anything in this stock right now. As far as other stocks that got hit yesterday, the U.S. backing intellectual property for COVID stocks, they just took a bath yesterday as well. NVAX got hit pretty hard. Again, if you happen to be day trading, this is what we're talking about. And also Moderna, which we actually had on our breakout list yesterday. NVAX actually has scheduled earnings this afternoon. So we're going to take a look here. This is what we were looking at. I still like Moderna if this news becomes normalized, for lack of a better way of putting it, above the 189, 190 level is where we're looking at. But until that happens, Moderna, NVAX, and Peloton, I'm staying away from. Rocket is actually interesting. Rocket actually has a pretty good earnings yield, but it was not perceived as good earnings yesterday. So I'm still sticking to where I'm looking at it over 24. Other plays that I want to take a look at, and this is what's kind of exciting about being a trader, is you start to dig in underneath the hood to see what's going on. If the market's not doing anything, you're like, let me go on a treasure hunt. And the financials. The financials are ones that we're looking at for breakouts today. So we're looking at Citigroup, we're looking at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan. So that's the list that we have today. Very exciting opportunities that we've been finding. And I think one of the things that is the most important is that we're finding opportunities to make money when the market's absolutely doing nothing. So we're trading for cash flow right now. If you want to be a part of our community, whether you're a day trader or a swing trader, everything we do, the Stock Trading Pro bot sends everything right to your phone. It couldn't be any easier. You just look down at your phone, you get the updates, and you make a decision. Plus, you get all the training. Plus, you get coaching, which I think is the most important part of it. So if you want to learn more about that, just click the link below the video. I'd love to see you on the other side. But we're finding opportunities every day. It's just you got to get in there and put your overalls on and dig it out. But you saw the sheet. That's the biggest thing that we do every day is looking for the rotation and where the smart money is allocating money now. That's a big deal. So thank you so much for joining me here today. I really appreciate it. If you're first time to the channel, definitely click down and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, because that lets me know what kind of video I can keep producing for you. And definitely hit that alert. Because that'll tell you when we have updates that pop up here too as well. So have a great day, everybody. I really appreciate you being here with me today, and be profitable today. And more importantly, be awesome. You can do anything you set your mind to.